Hello, I'm Kathy Pearsall-Stipek, a member of the trustee board at Bates Technical College. We talk a lot around here about transforming students, transforming their careers. This school transforming the way it serves new student population. Our professional instructors and staff transforming the way we deliver the education that leads to opportunities and employment. What does this mean to you? It means Bates provides a unique learning opportunity to transform yourself. And this TV program is where you can learn how to get involved. Now, BTC Today.
Hello, and welcome to BTC Today. I'm Kim Pleger, Director of College Relations at Bates Technical College. On this edition of BTC Today, the Civil Engineering Technology program here at Bates Technical College. Civil engineering technicians work alongside engineers to provide technical support. They may be involved in everything from infrastructure projects such as highways, bridges, skyscrapers, canals, and utilities, to housing developments, environmental, and maritime projects. The Civil Engineering Technology program at Bates Technical College emulates a civil engineering surveying firm, giving students practice in many aspects of the profession, including defining project requirements, conducting survey fieldwork, field engineering, construction staking, designing, estimating, modeling, and client presentations. Students who may excel in this program have good problem-solving skills, a flair for math and science, and have the ability to understand engineering drawings and principles. The program is 6 quarters long and leads to an Associate in Applied Science degree. Here with me today is instructor Brian Smith and Emily Woodward. Welcome, Brian and Emily. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
Yes. So, Brian, I would like to start with you. I gave a little description of what civil engineering is, but could you describe a little bit more about what it really is for those who may have an understanding of what engineering is, but maybe what is civil engineering specifically?
Civil engineering specifically deals with infrastructure. That would be the infrastructure that we have around us to make our lives better. For example, the freeways, the highways, the traffic signals, the high-rise buildings, dams, and canals, all would be civil engineering projects. The word civil comes from Latin meaning for all of humankind. So a civil engineer is involved in the design and the construction, basically, of what we call fixed works for the benefit of humankind.
Great. So, Emily, you are a student in our program. Tell us where you are in your program right now.
I'm in quarter 5 out of 6 right now.
Okay, so you have just one more quarter to go, and then you'll graduate with your degree. Mm-hmm. What got you interested in engineering? How did you find out about the program?
Well, in my high school, I graduated a couple years ago. I took a physics class, and that sparked my interest in engineering. And I actually, in high school, I had to take a test to figure out what I'd excel in, and civil engineering came up, and I didn't exactly know what it was. So I did a little bit of research and seemed really interesting, so I looked up what colleges offer the program, and I found Bates. And I was actually able to do a career shadow here, and that really got me interested in this college and in civil engineering.
Great, that's wonderful. So, Brian, can you tell us a little bit about how you got into civil engineering? What's your background and what brought you to Bates as an instructor?
You know, typically, people in my profession, civil engineers, grew up admiring construction projects. And I can remember when I was a child playing with Legos, erector sets, and with not so much Lincoln logs, but same kind of concept. That pattern is frequent among civil engineers. They have an interest in seeing large projects built and working on the design of those. So that piqued my interest as I was growing up.
Great. So you've only been at Bates as an instructor for maybe not even a year. What did you do prior to working at Bates?
I do have an extensive background in instruction and in teaching. So I had been teaching for about 17 years at another for-profit college. Before that, I was in practice as a civil engineer for another 20 years, and I did a lot of work for companies specifically in California as well as in Idaho and here in Washington. I was involved in some freeway planning and design and some automobile traffic analysis.
Emily, you've had a great teacher to learn from. What are you hoping to do once you graduate?
I'm hoping actually to go straight into some sort of civil engineering technician job. I have gotten a lot of practice here, and I think I'd be set to start in a job as soon as I'm graduated.
Tell me a little bit more about the practice that you gain. What is the classroom environment like here at Bates?
It's treated very much like it would be in the actual job. We're given specific parts we need for, like, say, grading a road. We have all the requirements and we figure out what would be best for that project.
So it's really like actually being in the work environment.
Yes, so we get a lot of practice in that.
Have you had any externships or opportunities to work out in the field? Brian, does your program offer those types of opportunities for your students?
As it turns out, we are getting calls, telephone calls, and contacts from outside sources, both for the need of employment and for internships and externships. So yes, Bates itself doesn't sponsor them, but we are in contact with companies that have them. And I'm seeing that increasing, by the way. I'm seeing an increase in the need for that out in the field.
Oh, that's great. So what are the job prospects like for a civil engineering technician right now?
Receiving calls from outside companies is indicating that there is a bigger need. I would like to be able to be graduating more students than we have, because there's a need now. It's starting to show that we're not going to be able to meet the demand.
Okay.
So there is a need. There's also a need for this infrastructure improvement, because both the federal government and the state of Washington have put up a lot of money recently for infrastructure improvement, specifically for roadways, but not limited to that. So it's an increasing demand.
It's an increasing demand, and you have space in your program then, is that correct?
We do have space.
Okay, and how often do you take students into the program?
We are planning on starts both in the spring, that would be starting in March, I believe, of this year, and in the fall. So every 6 months we would have a start, a new start.
That's great.
Of students.
Emily, I'd like to hear a little bit more about your plans and your experiences here at the college. What has been your favorite part of being here at the college?
Favorite part, let's see. I've liked learning, like, the road grading especially. We did a lot in surveying, land surveying. We actually went out to a church and we had to survey their parking lot and the road out front. So that gave us a lot of what the job might entail. So that was a lot of fun for us, and we were always responsible for what information we get. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun learning all these different, and we also have Civil 3D, which we have been learning 3D objects and how to make those into surfaces, and yeah.
So it sounds like a lot of hands-on as well as computer experience. Are you in front of the computer a lot in this program?
In some quarters we have been. This one we've actually been doing a lot more critical thinking and math skills. But in, like, say, the road grading or figuring out water flow, we've been using the computer a lot, setting up what we need, and then the computer actually shows us how it'll work. Say, like, if we design a road, we can actually drive the road and see how it'll look, like, say, like, even in the side you can see, and you can see how the slope is, and yeah.
That actually sounds like a lot of fun for people who are interested in having that technical aspect and working the computer, but also a good blend of working out in the field. Is that a correct statement about this
That's our goal, is to emulate the actual work environment in the classroom. So that is our goal, yes.
Okay, that's great. Emily, you are fortunate to be studying in a brand new building. What can you tell me about that?
Oh, it's been great. I like the new building. It's a better classroom too. He's able to sit in front of us and show us how to do things. It's just a better classroom layout. It's been great being in the new building.
That's good. That's good.
It's a brand new start.
So I also want to know, how was it enrolling at Bates? How has it been working with the staff? Has that been a good experience for you?
It has for me. I had a rough start getting into it due to money and a medical issue, and I had one of the career advisors. He actually he pushed me into starting. I probably would have waited, and he was one who pushed me into it and told me, do this and you'll be able to start. Everyone I've talked to has been really helpful.
That's great.
Yeah, I can't say thank you enough to everyone that's helped me.
Well, we're all very proud of you and rooting for you, absolutely. So I would like to ask each of you a question. If you could describe Bates in one word, what would it be? And maybe I'll start with you, Brian, to give Emily a little time to think.
When you just said that, the first word that came into my mind was the word interactive.
Okay, great. And you, Emily?
I'd say motivational.
Motivational.
Yeah.
Those are great. Those are great. So we're going to take a break right now, and when we come back, we'll meet with another student and continue our conversation with our instructor. So thank you for joining us. Welcome back to BTC Today. We have been talking today about the Civil Engineering Technology program, and joining us now is student Matt Lukin. Welcome, Matt.
Hi there.
And welcome back to you as well, Brian. Thanks for joining us today on this show. So Matt, you are in our Civil Engineering Technology program. Tell us where you are in the program and when you expect to graduate.
I'm in my second to last quarter. I think I hopefully will be getting a job next quarter. I only have 8 credits remaining. And so hopefully my final quarter will be getting credits through work-based learning.
Okay, that's wonderful. What are you hoping to do when you graduate or when you get that job? What are you hoping to focus on?
I'm really interested in the structural aspect of civil engineering. I've always been interested in bridges and tall buildings and such, so something like that.
So is that common in your program, Brian, for students? What student is typically drawn to a civil engineering program, or what would a student be good at in order to excel in your program?
The way that answer that question would be maybe to discuss some of the courses that we have. And Matt mentioned structural. We do teach what is called statics and materials, and what that is it's just how a metal would react to a load. And so how a student would know what they want to do, as I mentioned earlier, a lot of them are interested in construction or surveying or being out in the field. Within the civil engineering realm, there's different branches, sub-branches, and our students may be interested in any one of those. That would include structural, as Matt mentioned, but there's also those that do strictly house developments or housing tracts. There's others that do strictly surveying. There's others that do roadways. The structural element would be working for a firm that is going to design, say, the steel for a high-rise building or for a smaller structure, say like the building that we're in right now.
So if I were a student and I thought I wanted to get into engineering, but I didn't know if I was going to be good at it, what sort of skills might I have in my previous life that I would know? Like, oh, I would be good at that. You mentioned earlier that you grew up with Legos and building Legos. What is that sort of a good indicator of success?
I would say so. We have students who come to us who have been involved in the construction industry. So that's one. Others are interested in housing developments. They may have seen how a street was laid out at a housing development, and they may say, I want to do that. Others may be involved. You mentioned in one of the introductions that there's environmental work also, so others may be involved in what we call water quality or water delivery systems, which is also a branch of civil engineering. So we get a mix of people with interests, but I'd say an overwhelming, not overwhelming, but I'd say a general basic thing that many of them have a background in would be admiring or participating in construction or building something or creating something using their math and science skills.
Okay. So Matt, does that resonate with you and your background?
Yeah, very much so. I played with Legos also as a child, probably until I was a teenager.
And probably still now as an adult, because I know I do. So.
I still have them.
Okay.
They're in a big chest in my mother's
I do
basement.
too.
It's been a little while, but I play with them with my nephews sometimes, which is
Okay.
fun. And I also was in the construction field for about 10 or 12 years prior
Okay.
to coming back to school.
Okay. So what led you to Bates? What was your background and why did you decide to come here?
Well, I already had 3 years of schooling at a university. I just never finished. And so I have an extensive math and science background already. But I investigated the different schools and what was out there, and I really found that Bates was really the only one in most of Washington that had a civil engineering program. And I was interested in the civil engineering program. Like you mentioned, it's a very wide-based program where there's lots of different branches we can go out into. So
That's great. So what are you hoping to do long-term in the future? You mentioned that you're interested in structural aspects. What do you hope to gain in the future and do in the future?
Well, to start out, I just want to get my foot in the door with a company that there's room for growth, room for me to keep learning, because I think that learning is kind of a lifelong development process, and I would like to continue learning as much as I can because I really enjoy being in school.
That's great. That's great. How's your experience been at the college so far?
It's been nice. There's been some bumps along the way, but all in all, I've learned a lot, and everything that I've been taught has been applicable to the field I'm going into.
Okay. So I want to ask a question. This is the Civil Engineering Technician or Technology program. What is the difference between what you learn here at Bates and a civil engineer? Brian, can you answer that?
You could divide it maybe into 2 or 3 different classifications. One, a civil engineer at a university level would be having higher coursework in physics and in mathematics. A second way to look at it, which our program is Civil Engineering Technology, a second way to look at it would be our students graduate as if they're technology specialists. They're going to assist a civil engineer in the office. That is, they're going to be doing calculations, they're going to be doing field work, they're going to be doing research for the engineer. And if they get a good engineering mentor, that means they can move up through the ranks and themselves eventually fit into that same position.
Okay, great. Do you have partnerships, or your program has an advisory committee? What role does that advisory committee play?
The advisory committee becomes aware of what we are teaching, our curriculum. The advisory committee in turn makes recommendations to us of what we should be including in our curriculum.
Okay.
So through that process, we're able to, as best we can, keep up with what the needs are both for employment and the needs are for changing technology.
Okay. I would imagine that there's definitely evolution of technology as the computers have changed and everything. Do you stay up on top of changes? How do you stay current in the profession?
Well, it is changing overnight. And like so many young people, I'm a computer geek. And so whenever some new software comes out or something improves, I'm as anxious as I can to get in front of the computer and start using that software. So it is an uphill thing, but as Matt said, it's lifelong learning. And so I take pride in my ability to stay as close as I can to the abreast of the advancing technology.
Okay. So I think I have time for maybe one more question for you, Brian, and that is, you are in a new facility. You were at our downtown campus, and now you're in this brand new Advanced Technology Center. What's changed about the classroom for you, or what's better?
We're talking about technology. This building has the latest bells and whistles in technology. So we've got smart boards that we can talk with, and I can actually do drawings on the boards with my finger. And it'll trace my finger. So
that's great.
This building accommodates changes in technology. Another important thing about the building too is I believe it's Gold LEED certified. So we're on the cutting edge of having a building here that is highly energy efficient, and it is useful and helpful to the student and to the instructors. There's a lot of openness to it. You can get a lot of sunlight in the classroom. The ventilation and everything is controlled. So it's a very nice working environment and teaching environment for the students and for the instructors.
Great. So I asked our last guest, and I'll ask you this question as well. If you could describe Bates Technical College in one word, what word would you use?
Cutting edge.
Cutting edge. That's great. Well, Matt and Brian, I want to thank you so much for joining us today on this episode of BTC Today. I wish you the best of luck, Matt, and hope that you have a great career ahead of you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. We also would like to thank you, our viewers, for watching today's program. For more information about the Civil Engineering Technology program, please visit our website at www.bates.ctc.edu or call Student Services at 253-680-7002. Again, thank you for joining us. We hope to see you next time on BTC Today.
Bates Technical College focuses on lifelong learning with hands-on experience. We have nearly 50 career training programs located across 3 Tacoma campuses. Bates Technical College offers general education classes to sharpen skills, basic education, and high school completion options to prepare you for your next step, and continuing education classes to keep you on track in your chosen field. Our academic year is flexible and built with your convenience in mind, so we accept students at various times throughout the year. It's easy to get involved and transform at Bates Technical College. Just visit www.bates.ctc.edu/get-started. That's where you'll find easy-to-follow links about our programs and class offerings, the dates for general information sessions, and the easy steps to help you get started. You can also learn more about how financial aid can help you pay for college. There are many options here, from loans to state programs, worker retraining programs, VA benefits, and scholarships. Bates Technical College. We're here to help you transform.